Simon Birch came out in 1998, and it's classified as a coming-of-age comedy drama, but I think it's primarily drama. Just it's kind of a classic tearjerker. If you haven't seen this movie, this one I'm also recommending. It is just a really inspiring and really tragic and emotional story about a really special kid, Simon, who is born with this ailment, this disease, and he's not exactly like the rest of the kids, but has to persevere through that. And actually, I don't know if it's because he's not outdoors playing with the other kids or whatnot, but he ends up maturing a lot faster than all the other kids and starts asking questions in this town that thought they had their religious views and their social views all figured out, and starts to make everyone kind of question their beliefs and their mistakes. I give it an 8.5 out of 10 for drama. It's kind of a classic 90s movie. It's going to be like Beaches or like, well, that's not 90s, but like maybe Angels in the Outfield or something like that. That is kind of made to have you feel some emotional reaction. If you're not emotional watching this movie, you should get yourself checked out, because it is definitely supposed to be a tearjerker. Okay, so let's get into it. What did I actually like about this movie? I think it was really interesting. I always love writing scenes where I have voiceover, and like a Jim Carrey voiceover is just great. Him looking back on this really impactful person in his life, Simon, and the hero that he turned out to be. Simon always lived his life asking the big questions, and kind of lived in a state of existential crisis where he was worried about his own death and wanted to do something great before he died. He always thought that predestination, or hoped that predestination was a thing, and throughout the movie is searching for whether or not that's true from the priest. And yeah, he always wanted to go out and become a hero or do something greater with his life. Clearly, these characters are just hard to dislike, and you feel like you're going through maturing with them as they realize the gravity of the situation, of the mistake that Simon, or I guess you could say the coach, made. And they really balance their emotions well. There's a scene where both of the characters, Joe and Simon, are sitting at the water, and there's such a sense of internal conflict, and you have the voiceover with Jim Carrey comes in and says, "When someone you love dies, you don't lose them all at once. You lose them in pieces over time, like how the mail stops coming." And goes on to talk about his mother and how her bed sheets no longer smell like her and all this stuff. And it's just kind of peppered in there throughout the movie, but the voiceover is really great, a great aspect of this one. It's just kind of a movie where life is unfair, and you have to get up and you have to channel your inner Simon and try to become the hero in many situations, because life is hard, and you never know what it's going to throw at you, or what baseballs are going to come flying at you. I had seen this movie back when it first came out in 1998, actually, but I totally forgot. And it was great just to finally figure out. I've been searching for that scene for actually like 10 years. I wasn't sure what it was from, and I didn't ever, I guess, really look at it, but it was just always in the back of my mind, like, that's a great scene. I should someday figure out what movie that is. Two major divisions of this movie, I guess I'd say. One side, you've got existentialism, you got religion, and whether predestination is a thing, or free will, and who chooses that that you will do certain things. Do you make yourself a hero? Can you become a hero yourself, or is it already determined by God? And that kind of is up in the air even at the end of the movie. And I like to take away that anyone can be a hero, and that Simon did go out there and channel his greatness himself, and was always wondering if God was going to bring him to that moment. And maybe, I think he believes that moment was that he was placed there by God. And I guess you're kind of forced as a viewer to kind of dig into that and see what how you interpret it. And then on the other side, you have misfortune and moving past mistakes and death and disease and all this, and becoming something in lieu of being dealt a bad hand of cards, just like Simon. Simon is kind of the biggest person I identify with that side, but also Joe, and he's able to find his father and have a great life even after all of this tragedy, and he definitely has it hard. He's got no fatherless upbringing, and a mother killed by his best friend, and then he still chooses to be kind enough to give Simon a chance. So yeah, it's a good movie. What other things I want to look at? 2 out of the 3 of the first movies I reviewed already have been very good, realistic dialogue, and that's not always something that you see in movies. It's definitely got its high highs and low lows, and it's all made to send you on an emotional roller coaster the whole time, and you will enjoy it. I actually went up, was gonna go make popcorn 3 times during the movie. I was gonna pause it, and the first scene was where they're on the raft, and I said, "Oh hell no, I'm not pausing this." And then the second scene was talking about that was the Jim Carrey quote about time, and I was like, okay, can't go up here, this is great. And then the third was when the bus goes into the freaking, literally right as they cut off, I was like about to go up, and I was like, damn, no popcorn for this movie. But yeah, it's intense, and it doesn't really it's so fast paced, actually, really, despite being a drama that's all character driven and dialogue driven. It's keeps you on the edge of your seat as well, just as any good action movie does. While the conflict might not be visual, it's very real and very intense. So I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10 for drama, and it's a classic, I'd say, actually. Great job. Subscribe, do all your liking, comment, let me know if I'm looking too much at myself. I gotta try to focus on the camera. I'm getting better at it, people. All right, see you next time.